If you want to know how to get your phone closer to your subject without getting loads of noise and horrible footage, then you're in the right place. Today I'm going to show you how to push in towards your subject and use a slider and gimbal to dolly into a subject nice and smooth so you can get close without ruining the image and having loads of noise. If you want to know how to do that and why we shouldn't be using a zoom, check this out. Okay, so we're going to show you why we don't use the zoom for pushing in by sliding the zoom upwards on the wheel. And as we get closer, you can see that the noise increases at our subject's face as we get in closer and push in on the subject with the zoom. So zooming in, you can see the noise in the shadows as well, in the curtain, on the face, like dancing bugs I like to call them. And it's just not a nice clean image. That's what we want. And we can see this even further if we go into settings, go into device, and then at the bottom of that menu, we'll see hide zoom rocker. So that's hidden at the moment. If we tap it, turn it off, tap the main screen, tap it again, tap it a third time, and you'll see the zoom rocker on the right hand side, which currently has green either side of it. That colour will change as we push in, and essentially Filmic Pro is warning you how much noise you're getting on your image. So as the colour darkens to red, that's when you've got unacceptable levels of noise. And then to turn it off, you just go back into device, back down to the end of that menu, and then make sure it's switched on so you're hiding it. So the first step of pushing in and pushing out is to lock your exposure and focus. This is something we always do, as well as your white balance. Put that focus over your subject's face so you can get a nice clear shot there. And now we move on to step 2. So we're going to find our physical starting point and ending point of this push in. So as I look to my right, I'm in line with the center of the doors here where the keys are. So I know when I push in, to make sure I get a consistent push in every time, that's my starting point. I'm then going to step forward a couple of steps towards the subject. This is going to be the end of my push in. And to mark where that is, if I look down, I'm actually at the edge of this table. So I know that my push in starts at the doors and ends at the edge of that table. So check your point A for physical move, check your point B for the physical move, and move with the camera as you push in to make sure that you get a good, solid, smooth move. Step 3, to make sure this works, we're going to marry that technique physically with the automatic focus pull. If you don't know how to do an automatic focus pull, check out my tutorial in my playlists. But in the meantime, to set your first focus point A, you're going to tap that middle white line once you get the focus where you want it for your initial starting point. And this is where you're going to start moving physically as well. We're then going to move to point B, and we're going to do exactly the same thing we did physically, but with the automatic focus pull. So we're going to make sure that this is correct for our focus point B. When it is, tap that middle white line, and the other line will join up with it. And you can then press the arrow down here, and it will be either side as well when you're doing this, to create that automatic focus pull, and you move with the focus pull. So you're essentially a bit of a dance with the focus pull, so you're timing it together. So you get a nice, good push in, and the image is still nice and clean. And you don't want to have automatic focus on this, you know, having it unlocked, because that way it's going to have a bit of a moment where it tries to focus again. This way you can use it and get a really nice smooth push in like this, and you never know any kind of focus changing. Really smooth, really good, excellent technique. Step 4, if you want to change the focus pull speed, so you want to push in faster or slower, you tap focus and you hold on to it, drag it into the screen, and on the right hand side you've got this white toggle here. This is your focus pull speed. As you push it up, you go up to 10. That's more for an immediate push in. So that's maybe a bit more dramatic if you like. And you can bring it right down to 1, which is the slowest. So if you time your movement with the automatic focus pull, you'll be pushing in and arriving at your subject at the same time that the automatic focus pull ends. So with a slower one, it's a bit more emotional. It could also be used to reveal a subject where they are in their location. So you start off on the subject's face and then push out to see exactly where they are. A really great technique with different speeds. Now practice this wherever you are. Always practice this. If I'm on the train, for example, I'm practicing focus pulls on different things I can see there. So it's a really great technique to use. And also don't be too down on yourself if you don't get it first time. Take patience with this. To create more of a dolly effect, we can use a slider. So I've got this newer slider here, which is really great, carbon fiber. Attach it to your tripod, and you can create a really nice smooth dolly effect as well, which is similar to a push-in I've learnt, but you're using a rail of some sort like this slider. So we're going to push in and try and time it again with the automatic focus pull. Now obviously I realised on this take, after filming it, that the slider was in shot. So we need to raise the phone And to do that, I'm going to use my DJI Osmo Mobile 3 gimbal. So we're going to use that this time to make sure that we don't have the slider in shot. And as you can see with the gimbal, we're now going to get a nice smooth focus pull and going to use that to do a good dolly in. So time it with the automatic focus pull we created, similar to what we did with just our body, but we're now using the gimbal and the slider. And with those two accessories, you can get a really smooth movement. You can also connect via Bluetooth your gimbal to Filmic Pro. So I'm going to use my Osmo Mobile 3. You can use the Zone Smooth 4 as well as the other Osmo Mobile gimbals. If you don't know how to do this, check out my tutorial on that as well. Now we're going to use Filmic Pro within the gimbal and the smartphone joined together with Bluetooth to create this dolly in. So lock the exposure, lock the focus, both together, and we're going to create this really smooth effect within the gimbal. It's a really great accessory to use for this. So once more, we're going to time it with the gimbal, and instead we're going to use the actual joystick. So using the joystick now, we're going to push in rather than actually use our hands on the phone to start the automatic focus pull. So we're going to try and practice getting the timing right. It can take a few goes. And as we push out, we'll do that once more with the stick. Use the white lines that we've used for the automatic focus pull as a guideline rather than trying to get it exact. Although the closer you can get, the better. And we can get a really nice smooth push in using the gimbal joystick. Again, it takes practice, it takes time, but once you get it, it's a really nice effect. And then we just disconnect the gimbal at the end of our use. So here we can see what a push in or a dolly in difference that makes to using the zoom effect on Filmic Pro or on a smartphone in general. On the left, using a zoom, it gets noisy, it's unclear, it's kind of disgusting to look at, it's rough. If you look at the right hand side, you can see the dolly in or push in that we've used, and it creates a really nice, clean, crisp picture at the end of that push in or dolly. So that's much more preferable to zoom in. So remember the 4 steps. We want to lock our exposure and our focus. We want to set our physical movements where we're going to start and end. We're going to want to set our automatic focus pull to match our movements from when we start with the focus pull to where it ends, getting closer to the subject. And step 4, you can change the speed as well if you want to. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this, and don't forget to check out my playlist for Filmic Pro tutorials, which I'll put in the description below, as well as other things that you might want to enjoy on the channel. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Bye bye.